American down 9% after lower than expected guidance for the full year, citing consumer weakness. And Alaska lower as well by nearly 5% after third quarter guidance came in light after the bell. The company beat on both the top and bottom lines, however. Here to discuss in a CNBC exclusive is Alaska Air CEO Ben Minicucci with our very own Phil LeBeau. Welcome to both of you. Phil, kick things off.
Thank you, Kelly. Ben, thank you for joining us today. I'm curious, and I want to start with what Kelly mentioned there. Yeah, you beat the street on the top and the bottom line in the second quarter, but it's the guidance that worries people. You're seeing an inflection. Explain exactly what you're seeing in terms of an inflection in demand and bookings.
Good morning, Phil. Good morning, Kelly. Great to be with you guys. Yeah, like you said, second quarter was strong. We beat our guidance, at the top end, and record revenues, 8% pre-tax margin is the top 3 in the industry. And one of the big things we had was our Hawaiian Airlines operation, the first quarterly profit since 2019. So what it just says is the integration's working, combining both airlines. In terms of the guidance, and Phil, what you asked about in terms of, the change in the consumer sentiment is we're seeing a change. Since the end of June, going into July, we've seen a change in bookings. We've seen a change in yields, definitely an improvement from the first half of the year. And while you're seeing the guidance a little bit, for the third quarter, we're 2/3 sold already for the third quarter and only 15% sold for the fourth quarter. So we see a lot of the upside in the fourth quarter of the year, especially with the industry capacity backdrop. And that's why, our guidance, for the full year, we put it at a floor of 325.
When you talk about the third quarter, it's a little shy of what the analysts are expecting. And part of the issue is going to be the IT outage that you suffered just within the last week. And you indicate that there may be more IT outages. That's not reassuring to customers. When do you feel like you will have addressed this issue and you can say, yes, it is behind us?
Yeah, Phil, first, I want to apologize to our guests for the IT outage over the last weekend. It was very disruptive, and I'm really sorry for the experience they had. And yes, the IT outage had about a 10-cent EPS impact for us in the third quarter. We're still investigating, the cause of the hardware failure had with the vendor. So that investigation's in progress. And like everything we do at Alaska, once we find out what happened, we put the mitigations in place so that it never happens again. So we're investing a lot in IT. We're doing the integration. We're improving systems. And our mindset is to have really a bulletproof IT infrastructure for our company and for our guests.
And Ben, just to jump in on that, we might come back to that, obviously, because it's been a top of mind concern. I just want, if you could again put in clear terms, what's going on with all the airline stocks today? I mean, is it a coincidence that everybody's down and everyone's talking now about softer demand trends in the coming months? What happened all of a sudden?
It's hard to say what happened today. Again, I see, Kelly, I see a better second half than the first half of the year. So if you look at, industry capacity, there's a better backdrop for industry capacity. If you look for us, for corporate travel, in the last 2 weeks, we've seen a significant jump in corporate travel. We're seeing better bookings. We're seeing better yields. So, from our perspective, the second half is going to be way better than the first half. So hard for me to explain why prices are down so significantly. But I think the markets just need to digest all this information, and hopefully things normalize to a better place.